Holzman, and this is Confessions of an SEO. You've come across the least SEO podcast on the planet, so welcome. All right. Well, yes, welcome to Confessions of an SEO Mountain Edition 2024. I'm coming to you from Western North Carolina, sitting in the woods in a tiny house. Now, last week's show got a lot of extra airtime. Thank you to those who listened to it and passed it around. Even more thanks to those that had sites with similar issues and took action. Some very established, knowledgeable SEOs who I know and respect were like, I had tried everything I could to help one of my sites. And after listening to last week's podcast, I took off that table of contents plugin, and for the first time in almost a year, traffic is improving. Now, here's where I'm probably going to go all in on a tinfoil hat observation. Do we really think that Google is going to come out and respond to all of this and say, well, you got us? No. I think, my opinion, the smart money is on them likely writing a script to identify all the sites where a lot of the URLs with the hashtag can be identified, and deleting what they say they have, which is probably 20 historical copies of those pages. This all makes sense, like if you listen to last week's episode. So I'll make sure you have the link on it, and it's like what's the canonical got to do with it? That's the name of the episode. When I first started the indexation project, fully with the intention of, anytime one or more pieces of the indexation system was broken, I would let everybody know about it publicly. And it was suggested to me by some of my colleagues that I might want to think about that for a minute. To quote Michael Cohen, that's a nice little business you have there, Carolyn. It'd be a shame for something to happen to it. Well, all right, so getting back to the canonical issue, it's fairly clear in reading a lot of comments, those that are accustomed to looking at data, understanding what it says, and more precisely, what it doesn't actually say. And Google's system to credit the main URL of a page, this is why I call it, and I'm sure others do, its attribution system, how it attributes the authority of whatever those jump links to the main URL page have accumulated. But that attribution system is not something we can put our hands on. Some seem to have missed the distinction between those jump links being seen in Search Console and assuming that Search Console permits one to confirm what is going on in Google's attribution system. Now, I will have to divert from an obvious rant because, as you can hear, I've developed a cough into an upper respiratory event when I return from the Entity Elevation Summit in Canada. Since getting back the last few days, I've gone from a mostly jet-lag malaise to a sneezing, coughing, I need a nap existence. So, briefly, I would like to share what kept me from creating an episode last week. So, as many of you know, I went to the Entity Elevation Summit in Kelowna, British Columbia. And I want to personally apologize to all the BCers for my massacring of that city name. And I realized it's the W that was tripping me up. It's spelled Kelowna. Now, I am making a thing out of this because it's like for all my people, who read books. And we learned new words by working them out phonetically. A for effort, not so much for outcome. Much like etagaries eventually became etagers to me. But that's another story. Okay, so Kelowna has now become Kelowna. Mea culpa. Um, Kelowna is beautiful. And what went on in Kelowna is not staying in Kelowna. Now, if you're listening and you're earning your living from SEO, you guys really want to check out Entity Elevation. They have a mastermind group. And I know I've been an advocate of joining up with groups, where we can all talk and share. And in this case, there's some top level information. And certainly in today's search engines, if you don't really understand in a way like the requirements of entities in your work, well, this is one way where you can kind of like get all your vitamins. Now, this group I'm in, fair and square, both Clinton Dixon and Daryl Osborne are working SEOs. You should look them up. I'll put the link in there. Now, it is not a beginner group. And I'm going to tell you what Daryl talked about, because then it'll make sense. Daryl's presentation on schema was next level stuff. I'm just going to leave that there, because if you need more than that introduction, you're probably not ready for it. All right, who else spoke? Stephen King was there, highly successful SEO agency. I have heard him speak before, and we knew each other, and we were able to compare some notes on like how Google likes to take in or reevaluate existing content. And he had a terrific presentation on internal linking. Patrick Tuttle was there. Now, if you don't know who Patrick is, he is co-founder of the Ranking Factory store, and they do a lot of software. I'll tell you a little bit later about the software. But he went into, there was another speaker there. Her name was Sherry Tree. She came in. Yes, that's her real name. And I think she's going to be a household name, not in the SEO world, but in other worlds. She's going to be doing a TEDx talk here sometime this year, I believe. So once I know about it, I'll be sure to pass that on. But if you want to see what the heck that is, go to crackmycode.com/BICO, BICO. Now, I'm going to tell you some letters, and you're going to go like, I don't know why she's telling me this. But believe me, it'll make sense if you go and get your own code. Now, my code is NKAB, and my business partner's code is NKBA. And those are pretty darn close. It's all about how to be able to speak to someone else's buying language. So it's like a personality thing, but it's a buying personality. It's the kind of information that will help you earn more money. Not because you're taking advantage of anybody, but because you're actually able to relate to them and you understand them and you speak to them in language so they can hear what you're talking about. Now, the thing I loved about it is that it's kind of contrarian, okay? It's the exact opposite of what we're told is a numbers game when we make sales. Like you got to get a lot of no's in order to gain a yes. You got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the prince, all right? But it's really, like I said, it's about making people matter again. So instead of waiting over all the dead bodies of people who aren't buying from you, you can actually learn how other people operate to both of your advantages, to your benefit. Now, if you go to crackmycode.com/BICO, BICO, you'll not only find out your buying personality, you'll get a detailed report specifically about your code. And it's pretty cool. I have learned a lot. It's helped me make sense of a lot of times, where I have felt maybe a little stilted or off balance in the sales mode. And the cool thing here is, obviously, I understand myself better, and it can help me understand others. So it'll make sense if you go there. I'll put the link in. And then we actually had another great time. This was Patrick and Gary Afron, the Ranking Factory guys, and we started looking at some of their Google Sites software. And I didn't know this, but when it was presented to me, I really thought, I was being punked. I was like, wait, what? So they had approached me and said, we really don't have any proof, even though they're in the SERPs, we really don't have any proof or know how to show proof that Google is crawling these sites. Would you help us? And like I say, I thought, no way. I mean, somebody has figured this out before, but apparently not. So it didn't take terribly long to figure out how to prove it. But I know all of us, if we're working with Google properties, they have that little notation in the bottom of every doc or sheet or something that says, Google crawls this document every 5 minutes. Well, now I know for sure. And I shared it. And if anybody here is interested, I'll make sure I put a link in there if you want to ask me any questions about that. I'll be talking. I'll have a lot more, I think, in the near future to say about Google Sites around here. So buckle up. All right. Well, I know that was just a lot of SEO, right? Okay. Sorry about that. But I think that's it for me this week. My voice is really going. Anyway, this was the initial Confessions of an SEO Mountain Edition. So I hope you come back. If you want to stay on the cutting edge of the state of indexing, check out Crawl or No Crawl on Substack. And again, I know I've talked about this a lot, but if you have a site that's been hit by the helpful content system or the most recent March core update, reach out to me at confessions@americanwaymedia.com. Or you can just add this Gmail to your search console and reach out to me. And that email is helpfulcontentsystem@gmail.com. All right. Thank you for being a listener. If you have any questions or topic ideas, I want to hear from you. You can text Confessions 512-222-3132. Thanks again. Next week, I'll have my voice back, and then I can see you in the SERPs.